Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. Well, if you was tuned in on Sunday morning, like early Sunday morning, for my chat with Dick Dale, you know we're obviously talking about his movie Ribspreader. So, got a screener copy, got to watch it today, and I'm here to talk about it. What can I say? Right after watching this movie, you feel like you need a good wash and a bloody tetanus shot. Um, and that's intentional. It's not slanging it off or anything. This is definitely one of the grimiest, dirtiest, chaotic movies I've watched in a while. Um, picture, I'll just set the scene. Obviously, you heard the premise of the story is obviously Brian's the main character in this. He was a tobacco brand guru back in the day, and after the death of his mother to lung cancer, he then starts on a spiraling plot of revenge. Now, that storyline's actually oversimplified to what's actually a bit of a complex universe in a music video setting, if that all makes sense. So, the whole setting of this city, picture Australia just pre Mad Max. So, if you've seen the dystopian future of Mad Max, well, this is Australia hanging on by the threads of the last ounces of civility, and this city is just closer to the edge than most. Another analogy be if you know RoboCop when all the Peters go on strike, and the madness ensues out. Well, this is daily life. So, what was like just a blip? Hey, glad to have you on, Chris. And sorry, I having a shitty day, mate. Well, I hope to cheer you up. Talking about gnarly stuff and people getting exploded, and oh god, every method of death in this movie is possible and happens. Now, obviously, I'm going to go spoiler free because this is still doing the rounds in the festivals, and then as we discussed, the Blu-ray will be coming out, and you need to go buy this bloody movie. We're having chats about trying to get networking with folks internationally to get this out, and obviously we can help some of the people I've met over the time. I'm reaching out to, and that just to try and we need a network, especially in the indie scene. Need a network and need to get things happen. It did. This is messed up beyond all recognition. It's a lot of fun. I tell you what, it's not torture porn, right? It's not that. Right, I'll give you right. Like people are getting the melt knocked out of them in the street. And you see during the trailer, the guy's running, he's on fire. That's just normal everyday life. Like this city is on the edge. Um, right, here's how grimy it is. Right, there's a scene with a dead body where a guy's got his head kicked in while he was freaking jacking up, and then you see another guy like taken out of his arm, and he's like, and you're like, oh god, man. There's a bar and just use condom land. This guy drops his peanuts, and the bar waitress is thinking about picking up the peanuts. I mean, this is all interwoven. It's done in a music video style, but that's a disservice saying it's a music video. It's done in that style. There's lots of gigs and that saying it's very heavily musically focused, very punk focused. I'm not a massive punk fan, but I appreciate the music and it fits with this universe. So that's that sort of thing. The gigs are all punk gigs. There's one of them throw in like a new age, just take a piss, like with electronic music and stuff, and throw a bit of that into. It's just what he's managed to describe here is the chaos of this universe. What happens when the remnants of civilization fall away? Um, there's a reason that we have laws and social etiquette in place is so we don't end up like this, because we are dickheads. Let's be honest. As the human species, we are arseholes. And if we're given the chance to run free with no consequences, we're clubbing each other over the head. It's that simple. And this movie almost serves as a warning. It's funny, at the same time, when you're going out and taking your life in your hands, it's, yeah, the actual reality of it is not uh, not pleasant. Now, Brian's character, I was actually a bit disappointed in Brian's character in this. Now, I got him at the start, and I got him for the breakdown, his breakdown, which led him to becoming Ribspreader, but he never fully embraced it. He was always fighting against it right to the end of the movie, which I thought was a shame, because considering he lives in this world, it's not new. People dying around you, and the 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 subler is not just him becoming a serial killer, but this is a town of serial killers where serial killers are actually unionized. Bloody commie bastards. But it's actually that, serial killers are commonplace, and it's that bad they're running out of victims. There's there's an influx of them, and just the way that city is, it's like a plague of serial killers. So Brian living in that and still resisting up to the end, I didn't get. I'd love to have seen him just become fully realized, fully embracing himself as Ribspreader. That would have been fantastic, just that bit, because the actor that plays us, he's an old guy. He's not physically imposing. He gets beaten up. He's not. He was back in the day. That's the whole point. And that's where there's complexity to the character. It's not just, oh, I'm going to fall off the rails here. Like falling down. If you think Kirk Douglas, or is it Kirk Douglas? Or is it the son? What's the son called? Douglas anyway. I think it is Kirk Douglas, but what just seemed to him having one bad moment and then going on a rampage, there's actually complexity behind that character and more going on. It's the same with Brian's character. He was top of the world. He's fallen from grace. He's as low as he can go. And then his mother, Dan, from the product that he was made his fortune off, was like the stumbling block. Oh, Flip, we're all getting everybody in tonight. Hey, Dale. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing great. We're just talking about Dick's movie, obviously, that we're just reviewing it. I managed to get a sneak peek, which, yeah, definitely, you have to get hold of this. But yeah, it's not shock for shock's sake. I'll say that, right? You can get the impression from the trailer, and you can get the impression from even Dick and I talking and roughing a bit, that it's just shock horror for the sake of shock horror. There's actually friggin', and I don't think he even knows it himself, there's deeper layers to this movie. Or maybe that's just me picking out stuff, but it's not just a superficial shock horror, if that makes sense. You watch this movie and you're taking a wee bit more in as you go along, and there is a structure there, and there is a hierarchy, and there is bucking the system, and there's a clever bit that happens, because I don't want to spoil it, and it's bloody hard to talk about a movie that I've seen that it's not available yet. If this was out for years, I wouldn't have a problem. So this is where I'm struggling a wee bit here. Right, there's character interactions that are, really clever, and they speak of a deeper universe. Like, this guy's world builded. Let's be honest, he hasn't just went, let's throw a lot of shit together. He's actually went and built the world. Now, it's a wee bit tricky at the start. It takes about 26 minutes, into the movie, nearly half an hour into the movie, before Brian starts to become Ribspreader. So you got to be prepared for that. They spend a lot of time showing Brian's breakdown. Now, could have done a wee bit quicker. Yes, I think they spent a wee bit too long on that. His relationship with Gypsy, it was funny at the start, and then it went on a bit too long. she kind of served her purpose in the first quarter of the movie, on his journey to becoming Ribspreader. That's where it should have stopped, because that should have been a realization that, it wasn't a good relationship. Oh, fuck, it's hard not to spoil this. Sorry, guys, that's why I'm struggling here. It's really hard not to spoil a movie. But there's quite a bit in this. Australia's really underrated for their movies. We were talking on Sunday, like one of my favorite zombie movies is Wormwood, Road of the Dead, and Road of the Damned. They're really clever zombie movies, and I'm not a fan of, and don't all start jumping on me with zombie movies. Same as you bastards do with found footage. I'm not a fan of zombie movies. I think they're very repetitive. And especially when they've done the whole, it's a virus, I've talked about this ad nauseum, that freaking zombies and vampires and fucking werewolves and everything's all a fucking viral infection. It's like, come on. But yeah, the Australians have this sort of brash way about them, as if they're not very bright. It's very deceptive, but a lot of deep thinkers are. And you can tell, like when I'm talking about Dick, you can tell his excitement. Like, who spends 7 years in total putting a movie together, scrimping and saving while working a day job, and also having people on board to do this? I want to see the final results. That's you can see that there's love into this. This wasn't just a thrown together. Like, I've reviewed movies and look as if they've been put together in 5 minutes and nobody gives a toss. They're just making a movie for the sake of it. We'll discuss that anyway. This isn't. You can tell that this guy wants to make a movie, and it could have been shock horror for the sake of it, and it's not. There's actually a story. Now I have a few, like I said, the Brian Gypsy relationship would drag on too long. Brian's character taking so long to get in the Ribspreader and then not fully embracing it annoyed me a bit. Now, my favorite character in this, Norbert, was wholly underutilized. I don't think I realized he made such a brilliant character. He was brilliant. He was a fantastic character, and there was a whole opportunity here for like a buddy cop serial killer movie, Master Apprentice, Batman Robin type thing, of just because those two, Brad and Norbert, get together and they're bouncing off each other. It's brilliant, and it was just wholly underutilized. Norbert should have been a better, a more used character in this. Definitely. Such a shame. To me, there was a wasted opportunity there. But obviously, you can tell me when this finally, obviously, once to get more news about it coming out and being available, I'll be sticking up links and letting you know. But yeah, what's that? Zombies are real. The Urban Department would reveal. That's the same. Civil servants are the world's zombies. They are. They're dead from the neck up. They're pointless creatures. If all civil servants were to fall off the face of the earth, the world would continue, and probably better. I don't know. I just have no time for them. I spent too many years. I spent 10 years in the health service and other branches when I came out of the army. And God, talk about banging your head at the desk. Are you trying to do emojis and they're coming out? What are you doing? That's your second one. Oh dear, the emojis are broken. This is how gnarly this movie is. It's broken the emojis and on the chat. Fantastic. The twins were a lot of fun in this. You see them in the trailer. Yeah. Twins, they were actually, I thought they were going to be like superficial, just, titillation character, but they were quite cool in this movie, and they were actually formidable, if that makes sense. And we'll meet them at the start, and then their characters come through later on. God, you've got everything in this. You've got the knocking shop, the nightclub that's a brothel, and the owner goes, I mean, the owner and like the top man were going around wrestling masks, like just suits and wrestling masks, just because. Bands are, garish and done up and over the top. It's all the little scenes. That's the thing. There's a lot of work put into the little cut scenes in between the main story. And what it's doing is telling the story of this just world gone mad, and the rain's coming off, and a warning of, this is just around the corner. Especially if the internet gets its way, or Twitter, it's just around the corner. If those people get their realized utopia of no law and order and all that kind of nonsense. The police are funny in this. We don't actually see a police officer till about halfway through the movie, and the first one's like just as bad as everyone else. But the chief constable in this, he was another underutilized character. He would have served as a vehicle for describing this universe a bit more, and from the side of the last remnants of Law and Order, and he wasn't used enough. He was used as a bit of comic relief, but there's plenty of comic relief in the movie. So the characters in here, some of them I don't think got a chance to breathe, which is a bit of a shame. And he was one. He could have been, the political police officer, always trying to keep a brave face, but kind of knowing they've lost, and maybe seeing a wee bit behind that curtain of, yeah, it's going to rat shit. There's not much we can do. Just we're trying to hang on here. Maybe seeing a wee bit more of that would have been more fun, because this is, like I said, it's not a stupid movie by any shape or form, despite the. And that's what I suppose my point is. People make assumptions about punk music, metal music, alternative scenes. Now, judging horror, people make the assumptions about horror fans. Now, if you judge everybody by your average social media user, yeah, I can understand why you think everyone's a knuckle dragger, but most people stay away from social media who are in the scene, because it's like, ugh. And while there's a bit of bleed between various genres, and there's still, each one has its distinct flavor, hence why it's a genre. Like, metal fans generally don't go to punk concerts and vice versa, but they can pass each other in the street, and you see that, you see the differences. Same as like the goth scene and all that, all the different genres. There's a reason why they're niche genres, and they have their own group of fans. And there is, I would say, deeper thinking, like, compared to the mainstream, because for the general public, pop, soap operas, all that kind of stuff, that's, to me, that's sort of brain dead, just schlock put out there. Your average action movie, all that kind of stuff. That's what I class as dumb and unthinking. And people make that assumption. Maybe it's projection about people who are a bit more edgy. Now, I don't mean edgelords. I don't mean people just doing it for the sake of it. But there's definitely deeper thought. Maybe too much thought sometimes, because a lot of people talk themselves out, which is that's why I'm trying to encourage bloody horror creators. Get on, talk to me. Let's shine your lights out there, because too many overthink things and hide under a bushel. But yeah, there's definitely thought. There's definitely a deeper thinking behind this, and it's easy to see the punk scene, for example. Cameron would be better talking about this than me. He's a major punk fan. He'd be better talking about the thought process as opposed to just rebelling for rebelling's sake, which is the overall impression it's given. And people not being very bright, which, once again, is not fair. You don't create stuff because it's some of the most creative people. Now, like any scene, there's always the bottom basement. There's always the ground level stuff, just people jumping on the bandwagon and that. You always get that every time there's a bandwagon that's successful. You always get the hangers on, the wannabes. the pseudos, they're everywhere, and it doesn't matter what scene it is, doesn't matter how small. There's always that one that latches on, and they tend to be the most vocal. They tend to be the most visible, and then that's where the stereotypes come in. But I've always told this story. I have been to raves, rock, punk, electronic music, dark music, tribal music, you name it. The only concert I near got into a fight with someone at was a classical concert, an orchestra. And I mean, I've been in mosh pits, I've bounced about. I had hair once, so I was able to do it. In fact, I lost my hair early, so I had to just give up and make an effort, and I'm all right. But I've been in mosh pits, I've been in all sorts of grimy places, right? Not a bother. I went to a classical concert, and someone here starts to fight with me, like proper getting ready to throw fists in a bloody queue at the concession. And that's I'm better than you. So that goes, your assumptions about people and all that kind of stuff. Actually, why do you find it hard to believe? Why do you find it hard to believe? Have you seen my Iron Maiden videos, my unboxings of Iron Maiden stuff, and me going absolutely gaga? You know what I mean? It's not saying it for the sake of it. Hang on. But I'm with someone there. I'm not. No, can't use those. What's that one? Nope. Oh, by the way, when I was younger, I was shit at taking photographs. Oh, God. Oh, shit photograph. Right. Hang on. Shit photograph alert. There's me. That was a rock party Christmas Day. So there you go. I used to do. Oh, there's another one, right? Sorry, we're going on another tangent. Oh, I'll have to do it again. Sorry. Got to come up with who that band was. Look, there's me there. I used to do stage security back in the day. And I don't know if you've ever heard me talking about, I never did the typical black and white. I always had to wear bright combat. So they were actually my more tame ones. I used to wear like bright orange, bright yellow. I get the most garish, outlandish color I could find for combat trousers. That was my thing. And I used to, God, you don't see it, but I used to have a thing for belt buckles. And I used to, there's this shop where I went down. I used to buy, who was that band? God, that was, I can't remember the name of that band. But yeah, there you go. There's some random shitty pictures of me doing stuff just to go on a tangent because everyone thinks I'm a normie. That's what's so funny. Because I don't have like the beard, because I'm pure grey. If I grow out, I am pure grey. I don't look good with a beard. And because I don't have tattoos and piercings, because I was in the army for 20 years and you just didn't have anything that could identify you, because when you're out and about in civvies and that, you didn't want to be caught out. So I always kept myself nondescript, and I just never felt the need. I always said, because Cameron's I lived close to Cameron at one point. He's a tattoo artist. Mate of mine, Storm, amazing tattoo artists, both of them. If I was going to get tattoos, those two were more than happy to sort me out, and I would have been happy, with their talent. But I've never had anything, the need to have anything permanently, because what would have happened is I would have got something 3 months later, I'd want to change it. I'm just that sort of person. That respect, I haven't seen something that has struck me as an image, and if I was going to do it, I would go balls deep. So if I'm ever going to get a tattoo, it's not going to be a wee tiny thing. It's going to be like a whole piece of art, and it's going to take 2 years and probably about 20 grand to do. That's me when I get into something. And it's always funny because everyone you see it, and you see the stereotype, and this is when I'm talking about the bottom feeders. You see it in like metal groups. You see it in horror forums. And I'm doing this so I don't spoil this movie, because I'm so tempted. So I'm going to step out and talk about some other crap for a bit, and then come back to finish it off, because it's so tempting to go into the deep plot of this and spoil the movie. But you see the ones, okay, show me your tat picks, and they do it, and it's all hodgepodge. Like there's one here, there's one there, and there's no theme, and you can always tell the generic folks, because when tattoos became cool, then everyone, like I said, jumped on the bandwagon. I miss the days where somebody started up here and I was the one art piece and really put in effort. Somebody shows me that and I'm impressed, and if they tell me the story behind it. But the one when they get to the third tattoo, because they always go, oh yes, everyone's super personal to me, and then they get the third one, they're like, I'm trying to make up a story, which means they're talking shit. It's not about being a good storyteller. It's if you've done something personal to you, it's easy to talk about. It's the same as if I wasn't a horror fan, I couldn't sit here every other night and talk about movies, and I couldn't be animated, because if I wasn't feeling it, that's why I can't do sci-fi or action movies, right? Because I'm just bored. I just sit here and go, it's a movie. Yeah, watched it. Yeah, the end. And these movie or streams would be 3 minutes long. I would struggle to actually talk about it. The same as, when I go into one about if I don't enjoy a movie, but if I'm not emotionally invested, and I think you see the difference in the stream, where even if I don't like something, but I saw a merit in it, I try, and I talk about why. But if there's a movie that I'm just not invested in whatsoever, 9 times out of 10 I won't review it. I'm just like, nah, I'm not even worth my time getting on camera for. I've done that loads of times as well. Oh, cool. We'll have to. If they're not anywhere naughty, I'll get you to show them next time you're on a stream with us. But here's the thing: people just make, and this is what I'm talking about, making assumptions. Because you don't look and act a certain way, people automatically think, "Oh, this is who this person is." And I'm trying to say, piss off to that. Same as people make assumptions about, because this is heavily punk influenced, and because it has the aesthetics, and a lot of mates, you can't be a knuckle dragger. You have to have charisma. You have to have intelligence. You have to be inspiring, because the most precious thing in your life to give anyone else is your time and effort. If you don't have that charisma, you don't have that personality, if you don't inspire people, they're not good. And the number of people have turned up, and there's quite a heavy cast. There's quite a heavy number of extras, which we talked about, making sure they're all fed and looked after. But you can tell they've brought their own vehicles, right? They're the particular scene, they've brought their own vehicles. And you can tell that they aren't just thrown together for the movie. These are custom jobs that these are people's pride and joy. They're brought in for a particular scene, which I'm not going to spoil. But you can tell these are, and I'm sure Dick can confirm this or not, but that's from what he's told me of the backstory and how this movie's come together. It makes me pay attention to certain aspects of it. When you see the concerts and the gigs, you don't get that without inspiring people. You don't have, now, he name dropped, and a lot of it went over my head with the punk bands. I'll not lie. You probably could tell I was just going, oh, yeah, that's great, because I didn't know, you know what I mean? I'm not in that scene. But you don't get those people to turn up in your movie if you haven't inspired them. How many times do celebrities or personalities get approached when they go to places? Will you be in this? Will you be in that? Will you do this for me? Right? So you have to have something special about you to make them go, yeah, I'm going to do that. And the fact that he was able to get a film crew in London, the film, to do part of the scene, which he talked about, the funeral scene, which was seamless. It really was. If you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have even thought it, if I'm honest. um, yeah, just no, have like a $10 note taped to you, like deposit here. That's it. I get it too. And it's just so funny. And this is where the other side of the coin, it's easy to make assumptions about people, but the other side of the coin is, like I said, your generic tattooed bandwagon jumper. Show me your tats. Have you not got any? Meh, 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 meh. And you're like, you're worse. You can't say one thing about the other side of the coin and then be the same yourself or be worse. That's hypocritical. And the worst thing in the world is to be a hypocrite. Uh, if you want to turn people off you immediately or over time as people get to know you, is be a hypocrite. Don't be who you are and just say the words that you think people need to say. And it might take a long time, but we're seeing it now in society. People are sick of hypocrites, and it's a real anger. It's the same. It's the same level. It's a form of betrayal, and people get really angry about it. I know I do. And you see it in the music, not the music, well, you do see it in the music industry, especially the pop industry. You see it in a lot of the posers. You see it in the film industry, especially blaming the audience for bad movies because they're creatively bankrupt. You see it in the mainstream all the time. You see it in the media. You see it in politics. You see it anybody that's trying to save face in front of a camera. And it does generate anger. There's a reason why people are very angry these days, because and it's across the board. There's no one faction or section doing it. Everyone's doing it. And that's what has everyone so angst up. And this movie, come back to the come back to the movie again. This movie demonstrates what happens if the wheels come off. And I don't know if he meant it to be that clever, but this demonstrates that anger overspills, because a lot of this is outpouring of anger, and you see it. One thing I will say, bloody digital blood, really? I thought more of you, Dick. I really did. Your practical effects are amazing. This, what the hell are you using digital blood for in scenes? There's one scene that absolutely didn't need, like the opening scene just after the funeral. They didn't need digital blood for that. There's another one, and it's like, no, what are you doing, man? No need, because it's just goofy. Now, if you wanted to do like a whole scene using digital blood and make it comical, I would get it. But there's scenes in that you're using digital blood, mate, and there's no need. Your practical effects are on point, and the blood and the gore, and I'm not going. No, there's a scene later on, and it involves Gypsy later on in the movie, and that scene's amazing. I think there might have been a wee bit of CG in that, but you didn't get it. You just got the practical. It was brilliant. But yeah, that's the digital blood. If you're doing a sequel or anymore, ditch the digital blood. It's horrible. It looks icky. It looks cheap, and it just cheapens your whole movie. Don't do it. In fact, if you're doing an edit of this for the Blu-ray, take the digital blood out. And there's two scenes in particular you need to remove the digital blood and just replace the sound effects. Less squelchy, more clangy. I'll just put that without spoiling. Fuck, I can't. I'm trying not to spoil this movie. Yeah, so things escalate, ramp up. We'll see Brian's journey. It might have come to an end. It might not have come to an end. we'll leave that there. Just like I said, my complaints are we needed more Norbit. We needed more Ribspreader actualized, not Bran fighting against Ribspreader. We need a plushie of that talking cigarette. We need a plushie. Get some merch out. Get that thing into a plushie immediately. If you do nothing else, that needs to happen. I want one. In fact, I want one small enough to end up back here somewhere. or up here. I want something about that size, right? If you can get somebody to do an STL file and so that there can be what do you call that? Printing, 3D printed. Do that because I think a little figure about that size sitting on top of my microphone would be fantastic. Just dropping a hint there. I'll happily pay money for that. But there you go. Yeah, I'll keep this one a bit shorter, but yeah, really fun movie. It's deeper than what is presented in the trailer. We'll just put that. There's a lot going on. My complaints were few. Like there's only a handful of complaints there, and that's because I was invested. If I wasn't invested, and it was just it's not like God. What was that god awful one? Metallica did Through the Never. No, that shitty movie they did. And that was just a snore fest, and it made no sense. That's why I'm saying while it has a music video vibe, it's not that sort of shit music video. So it wasn't that. So don't expect that. Who else has done? You know, when bands try to do music videos or try to do films and their music, oh, it's not Glenn Danzig, right? So it's not that, right? And Cameron's trying to get me to watch the sequel, that horrendous abortion of a movie, and I'm refusing to do it. He's trying to bend my will, but I will be steadfast. So it's not Glenn Danzig. It's not Metallica. I just say it's got a music video vibe, but it's not. It's better and a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun watching this, and I'm looking forward to it getting out there and people's reaction, and hopefully people will come back to this and let me know what you think when it actually gets there. But thanks everyone that's turned up. Thanks Dale, Chris, and everyone else in chat. Always appreciate having you. Once again, we've plenty to get on. Keep up to date with the channel. Look at all our upcoming streams with quite a bit. And we're actually talking to more directors starting to get involved. So we're going to be reviewing a few movies and talking to those guys. So keep up to date. Do the typey clicky things. And until next time, keep it creepy. Keep it horrific.